Greetings, comrades. So, Fnaf fangames can be interesting with unique gameplay mechanics, setting, and story. There are plenty of them out there, especially during the beginning of the Fnaf community, and with a variety of quality when it comes to Fnaf fan games. Like, you have high quality games made by teams with original characters, to low quality games made by teenagers with shitty renders and unoriginal characters, and YouTubers were making videos about them and all that capitalist crap. But to me, those games that are made for fun or branch out in unique ways doesn't get the attention they used to in the Fnaf community. The games that get more attention are the ones with you being in a restaurant while trying to survive animatronic animals that are possessed by some random kid. It's not a bad thing, it's just that there was a charm to those games that tried to branch out, like Five Nights at Wario's, a game that takes place in a factory and you're fighting the ghosts of like Wario and shit. Those games that try to be different from what you expect from FNAF are still being made, but not as often, or they don't get as much attention as they used to back in 2014, but I miss those types of games. Like, I remember I used to watch Markiplier play Five Nights at Wario's. It was a simpler time, you know, on my iPad eating chicken nuggets and child labor, you know, good childhood memories. Good times. Good times. But yeah, those aren't as common or popular anymore in the FNAF community. I know I keep talking about Wario's, but it's a good example of what can be done with FNAF fan games. And I hope games like that are more popular and common in the community. Like, it would create more unique scenarios using a concept of just sitting in one place trying to find your enemies before they kill you. And that is why I'm showing you one of the most glorious games ever made. Developed by FreezyCat, Five Nights at Stalin's is a FNAF fan game that tries to branch out into new settings. Like, it takes place in a museum, which I think we haven't seen before in a FNAF game, and also you're fighting a Stalin statue instead of a Stalin animatronic, which is a nice addition. It's usually an animal animatronic walking around in most of the FNAF fan games, which is kinda getting stale. Plus, it helps spread furries, which is a bad thing, because we all know the open secret that furries are a capitalist plot to make money off of fursuits and other furry shit. Like, look how much a fursuit costs. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm kinda getting bored of the furry animatronics. It's not the greatest FNAF fan game, but it does catches the charm of the old fan games. Five Nights at Stalin's isn't a serious game, it's just trying to have fun like the old FNAF fan games. Like the classics like Thomas's, Fuckboys, and anime. So comrades, let's get into the nights. Night 1, and you're in the museum. You get a phone call from the director, who is basically this game's phone guy. He tells you to protect the museum from robbers and shit, but the director also says the statue moves around and stuff, and that the statue will try to escape the museum, and you're supposed to stop him. If he does come after you, you're supposed to hide underneath the table. That's actually something really cool. You're not just trying to survive him, you're also trying to stop him from escaping. That's cool. And I don't think an animatronic ever tried to escape before. Yeah, you're supposed to stop the puppet from escaping, but he still comes after you. It's an interesting mechanic. The rest of the night isn't that difficult, and you'll know if Stalin's in the next room because when you blink, that means he's there. In order to stop Stalin, you can adjust the radio you have in your office to make him go back to his spot. The radio plays Soviet songs, which I don't think are copyrighted, but I don't know. But you can't just adjust it back to the same spot every time because the song will eventually end and you'll have to scramble to find the new frequency. It's a good mechanic, but there is one thing that confuses me. There is a German communist song that if you played it, Stalin will kill you instantly. Which is strange. I don't know why the developer put it in there to make it more difficult, I guess. I don't know why Stalin hates it so much. It's a communist song. It didn't bother me, but like I can see some people having trouble with it, like first time players. But still, Night 1, very easy. Night 2 is the night that introduces Brezhnev. Who is he? Well, he's a former leader of the Soviet Union, and he's bad news, both in-game and in real life. He wasn't a good person, and he caused many of the problems that led to the USSR's collapse. And in-game, he will go to your back window, and if he stays there for too long, he will shut the power off, which also shuts off your radio, which is portable. So I don't know how that works, but you can use your flashlight on him and he'll go away. Another thing you can do tonight is paperwork. The phone guy left us the paperwork we can do if we want, which you can just scribble on it and that's good enough. I just like practicing my art on it. It's a masterpiece, isn't it? You don't have to do it, but it's a nice challenge to do at night, like when it's slow and the characters aren't that active. Yeah, a thing I don't like about Five Nights at Stalin's is that it can be slow at times, but paperwork can help make a game challenging. And you can get a trophy on Steam if you complete the challenge. It's night 3. Stalin and Brezhnev are still fucking with you and stuff. However, if you think you could just leave the radio on all night and you'll be fine, well no, you capitalist piece of trash. There is a new character and his thing is if you leave the radio on for too long, Lenin, the founder of the Soviet Union, will appear on your screen and kill you, making you have to worry about your radio usage. To me, this game feels similar to Fnaf 3. Like the main enemy, Stalin reminds me of a role of Springtrap. Also, Lenin and Brezhnev remind me of the Phantom animatronics messing with your stuff. And that the game doesn't take place in a pizzeria or restaurant. This just reminds me of Fnaf 3, and that's cool. Night 4 and Stalin and friends are getting aggressive. Stalin will start trying to get into your office and he will appear next to the bathrooms and after a little bit he'll burst into your office and try to kill you. And you'll need to quickly hide underneath the table and after a few seconds he'll be gone. Besides that, nothing else really happens. Night 5 is pretty much the same as Night 4, but it was still fun. I forgot to mention, but there are these newspapers written in Russian, and sadly I can't read or speak in Russian. All I know is that there are random images of like Biden and the Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's another problem I have with this game, the translation. Like most of the game is translated, but some parts aren't. But it's fine, the important stuff is translated and it doesn't really affect the gameplay. But please let me know what it says in the comments. Don't use Google Translate. Google Translate is dog shit. The final night, Night 6. Because of course there's a Night 6 and a 5 Nights at Freddy's game. But seriously, I thought the first 5 nights were easy, but Night 6 gave me some trouble. It's not the most difficult thing in the world, but it took me a few tries to beat the night. Plus, all of the enemies were very active tonight, especially Brezhnev. He constantly appeared at the window. Since I was busy adjusting the radio, he constantly cut the power, which fucked me over many times. And also, the game started to glitch out a little bit. Not like game crashing glitches, more like weird glitches. Like music already playing when I just started the night and I couldn't hear the phone guy. It didn't really affect me, but it was kinda weird. Also, Stalin and Lenin keep getting me because you can't use the radio when Brezhnev shuts off the power, but if the power turns off and the radio is already on, it will continue to play music. So when the power does come back, you'll have to quickly turn the radio off before Lenin gets you. And there were times I knew Stalin was in the front room, but I couldn't use the radio because power was off. Then when the power is back, I have to scramble to put music on. It makes the night a fun challenge. But I finished the night and I enjoyed it till the end. Sadly, this game does not have a custom night, but it does have a chill room. But yeah, 5 Nights at Stalin's. It's an interesting game. It has a unique setting and gameplay which reminds me of the old Fnaf fan games I used to watch. Yeah, it has some problems, but nothing is perfect. Besides communism. and by posting this video it'll help get people talking about this game, and that there'll be more games that will try to do more with the FNAF concept than the old same routine. This video is shit, but at least I tried. Like and subscribe, or Comrade Stalin will purge you.